Check this out. Sit down. The lesson begins now.
We are live on the mic. The crowd favorite DJ Deuce is in the building.
Hello. How's it going? I'm your host, DJ Deuce. I'm here with a special guest, country rock singer, Suzy Kory. Am I pronouncing it Kory? Is it what it looks like, Suzy Kory? Is that what it is?
100% right.
Cool. That's awesome. I found out that on the podcast, I'm the name butcher. So good. How you doing, Suzy? How are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. I've had a great day. It was my day off, so it's nice.
Oh, day off. We were just talking backstage. I don't know what that
Right?
is. I had one day off. I was lost. I was like, do I go to the gym? I'm like, but it's a day off. I didn't know what to do with my day off though. But Suzy, like I caught you on TikTok, and then you know what I mean? You have a fantastic website. We just have your website underneath your picture over here. I have your website also in the descriptions. But you are an amazing country rock singer. So I wanted to know more about you. So like, where were you born and raised?
So I was born in Beirut, but I was raised here in Toronto, where I am right now. So it's two different lifestyles completely. And the funny thing is, later on in life, I ended up moving to the Middle East. I lived there for 13 years as an adult. So I got a taste of that. And then about 10 years ago, I moved back here to Toronto, which is where I'm from. And you know, it's nice to have had that experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to have any kind of worldly experience is a good thing.
Now, how welcoming were you when you come back from Canada back to Beirut? Like, how was it?
Well, I was born in Beirut, but when I moved to the Middle East, I moved to Amman, Jordan. So
Okay.
totally different country, Middle Eastern still. I didn't speak Arabic very well, became fluent by living there. So, you know, I
That's so
decided
awesome.
I'm going to live in this country. I'm going to learn the language because I got to know how to
That's so
talk to
awesome.
people.
People need to travel. They need to see more. They need to know what's out there.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know,
What's the biggest difference between here and there?
I mean, there's so much.
She's like, that's a whole nother podcast.
Some of them can get political, so I should just stay quiet. you
Yeah,
know?
no, I get that.
But overall, I would say people are fantastic. They're just lovely, very warm, kind people. I'm glad I got to live there, had some amazing experiences. Got to be a DJ on a radio station there. which
Look
was
at
really cool.
you.
Yeah,
That's
I had a great
amazing.
experience.
That's amazing. So we know today you're a country rock singer. But what inspired you? Like what music? What age did music grasp you and you said, "Hey, this is what I want to do"?
So I've talked about this so many times, but
I can
first time
imagine.
on your show, so I can repeat this again.
Okay, cool.
This story is an interesting one. When I was 14, I kind of discovered Guns N' Roses, and that was the right here behind me.
Yep,
Right there.
absolutely.
My favorite band ever. And I went to go see them when I was 14, and that changed everything. You know, I saw them live, and the energy live was just something like I'd never experienced before. And I remember going, okay, this is what I want to do in my life. And unfortunately, my parents didn't agree. And, you know, coming up from a very strict household,
Yep.
I followed what my parents said, and no regrets. I've had a great life, great experiences. And it wasn't till, you know, later on when I was turning 40, for my 40th birthday, I decide that I want to meet Axl Rose.
Okay.
Fly to LA, and I drive to his house, and there he was when I got there. So
No way.
yeah. And that kind of changed everything for me, because in that moment I realized that, you know, you could think of something really, really crazy and make it happen. So I'm like, well, you know, this whole thing with the music thing, I think I'm going to give this a try. And ever since then, it's just been one amazing adventure after another.
You can't have regrets, right? Like,
No.
I even rather try and fail than say that I wish I did. Like, I rather, you know what I mean? I would just rather just give it a shot than just years later, I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have tried that. Like, I don't know. Like, even with DJing, I remember when I got into DJing, my dad looked at me like I was absolutely crazy, buying all this equipment. He's like, where are you gonna get all this? I'm like, where are you gonna get the gigs? I'm like, I'll DJ at the nightclubs. I'll do a wedding, this and that. And then he's like, oh yeah, sure. And all of a sudden I had an office. I had 82 weddings booked. Like, it was one of those like things that just happened, you know what I mean? So it was definitely interesting, but it's funny. Like, our parents obviously always want the best for us, right? It's like, yo, safe bet, school, career. And we're just like, no, we don't want that. You know what I mean?
That's right. You know, and that's why you just have to follow your gut instinct. And no matter how long it takes, as long as, you know, at some point in your life, you listen to that voice inside of you, it's never wrong, really. It's the
Favorite
thing.
Guns N' Roses song?
My favorite Guns N' Roses song?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's so many.
I know they have like 3 or 4 albums, and there's like so many great hits. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I love Patience just because to me
Patience,
that
great.
was such a mellow song compared to everything else they've done. I finish every single show that I do with Sweet Child of Mine because,
Oh my God! All right.
yeah. So I mean, and I love a lot of songs on Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Yes.
Great,
Yeah.
not necessarily the commercial hits, but
No, the whole thing. I know. I like Civil War. I think that one's real deep.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
what an incredible album, and just musically, the band together. I mean, obviously, Axl Rose is the reason that
Hmm.
I was inspired to sing, but the band together is just something incredible. And I have to say, Chinese Democracy, when the band wasn't together, was not quite the same.
No, it's all expected, but we always wish, right? We always wanted to see what would come out, and yeah, you're right. It wasn't the same. It definitely wasn't. But when it came to singing, so now you make the leap. You're like, this is what I want to do. Like, what were the steps? How'd you get started?
So I always joke around and say, I started not from zero, but like literally below zero. I had no musical experience. I had no technically training. And I just kind of knew that I liked to sing and that I could sing. I knew that I could keep a tune. And so here in Toronto, I would just go out to open jams and I would get up
Nice.
on stage, which is really cool because it's not like karaoke. You're actually with a live band. And they make you better because a lot of these guys who do these open jams for the most part,
Yeah.
they're musicians that tour with big artists, and when they're not touring, they're doing these gigs at these
I
clubs.
guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, some of the musicians I networked with and I got to meet, not only were they like, "Hey, you're good. You can actually sing," because usually at these open jams, we're used to people to just want to get up on stage for
I've been to a few open mics in my life. Yes.
yeah, so and to have it be coming from these musicians that are accomplished musicians was pretty cool. Plus, I got to network with a lot of them, and one thing led to another, and it helped me kind of gain that experience of getting up on stage in front of people. You just got to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had some young artists on here, and I always tell them, I'm like, take the small gigs. It's practice. It's stage presence. I don't care how good you are in the studio. If you come on stage and you freeze up in front of these people, like they're gonna be like, "You're not very good on stage. You're not very good overall." That's the way they look at you. I tell them, look at everything as a practice. It's a practice run, right? So, and then, till the big stage hits, and then you're ready to go. So yeah, no, definitely. But you have a band behind you. Like, how hard is it these days? The world is running so fast. Everyone has shit to do all the time. How hard is it to get together and like record a track together?
Well, the recording is easy for me because I work with a producer in Los Angeles, Brent Woods. He's absolutely amazing, and he's working with Gene Simmons right now from Paris.
Sweet.
Yeah, he's touring with him, so he's quite busy. But he usually puts the band together for me. So
Wow.
I write the song, send it to him. Then I fly out to LA. We work on it together. But he gets all the musicians, and he gets like top-notch musicians recording, on this album.
Suzy, you're just making it sound too damn easy. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
It's kind of what we talked about earlier. And I said to you that when you just follow your gut instinct, I
Yeah.
knew that I had to work with him. And it was just the right decision, and everything fell into place. So every time you make the right decision by listening to your instinct, and that inner voice, you
Yeah.
don't go wrong. You really don't. And I think the biggest mistake people make is shutting down those voices. Because I mean, this producer Brent, he's in LA and I'm in Toronto, and it was going to be, somewhat costly for me as an independent
Yeah.
musician to take that risk. But I knew I was making the right choice, and I'm like, whatever the cost, I'm doing this because it's important to my career and what I want to be doing. And
Mhm.
I was not wrong. And I ended up making all the money back. So it just goes
Sweet.
to show you that make the right choices, work with the right people, everything falls into place.
So if you're performing in, let's say, like this weekend in Toronto, let's say like the band that's behind you, it's obviously not the same band that he hooked you up with. So now, do they just learn the instrument or the notes to be, I don't know a goddamn thing about instruments, as you can tell. Do they know how to play this music? Is just you just find it, yourself a guitar player and a drummer? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole list of
Look at
guitarists. I have a whole list of bass players. And they're so incredible. I have to, give props to the guys here in Toronto. We have an amazing group of musicians. And if my number one guy is not available, he's sent me someone else who's number two. Then the number two
Okay.
guy, if he's not available, number three. So I literally have a whole list of, musicians that I can go to. A lot of them now know my music because they played several shows with me. So literally on every show, it's a different group of musicians. It's the same guys, but
Yeah.
really all the same guys that I've been playing with.
Okay.
So it's quite challenging, but these guys are so professional. I mean, they're incredible, and I'm truly in awe of them because they don't just play for me; they play for many musicians. And this coming in about 10 days, I'm playing in Sudbury, and none of my guys were available, like not one of them, because we have this big country music festival, Boots and Hearts.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge down by you guys. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of them are playing in that festival,
Yeah.
so they're like, "No, we can't come to Sudbury." I literally asked the promoter in Sudbury, and I said, "Give me a band. Who's a band that can learn the music? They've got 3 weeks to learn it. I'm just going to come out there. We have no rehearsal, and we just get on stage and do it." And I've done shows like that. It's not the first time. And
Wow.
yeah, they've got to learn it. We get up there and we have fun with it. And you start to learn too. If you're making mistakes, I mean, as long as you're not, the whole thing is not a mess.
Yeah, of course.
You don't want that.
No.
But it's okay to laugh at things and be like, hey, okay, we got to start over. Let's do this again.
That's why this podcast has never been edited to be perfected, because I love those slip ups and those, because it's so natural, right?
Yeah.
No one's perfect. So when people watch it, I want people to watch this one and be like they were here next to us. You know what I mean? It'd be like, because if it's too polished, it's like, it's not funny, or you're trying to spit out a word and you can't, and everyone's just laughing. I love it. I just love that aspect. So I get that. So, and I always told people, even when I trained a few DJs, I used to tell them, you are going to screw up. You are. You're going to press the wrong button. Something's going to happen. It's how you keep composure and get back right into it. It's not, don't freeze and look at the crowd. Just nod and pretend nothing happened and move on, and people are going to forget about it. No one cares.
And I'm the type of person that'll just highlight it and make big fun of it. I was doing a show a few months ago, and I was talking about this song endlessly, saying what a great song this was. I was covering someone else's song, Ingrid Andress. And by the time I got to the point where I had to tell them the title, I could not remember the name of the song. No, wait, it gets worse. And then I'm like, okay, let's just sing the song and the title will come to me, okay?
Yeah.
So we start singing. I sing the first line. I can't remember the rest of the lyrics.
No.
And I stopped and I went, oh my God. I said, okay, let's do this again. We started again. I got through the song. I get to the chorus. I'm like, oh my God, that's the name of the song. I stopped in the middle of the song. I go, yes, that's what it's called.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And so, everybody came up to me afterwards and said that was the best part of the show, because it was real, and being, making
it's exactly absolutely okay. When people get to see that, there's someone on stage and they're obviously there to see you, but they see how humble you are. Yeah. People gravitate towards it, right? They're just like, oh my God, she's one of us. It's so cool. Because when you're, like I said, you're too polished and too perfect, you're just like, oh my God, it's great. But I mean, when you see someone like yourself, you're just like, oh my God, she's one of us. So then people feel like, I don't know, you get closer with some of your people. Same thing with our podcast. People are just like, some people have told me that they've talked on like their headset while they were listening to us, and they forgot that they weren't even a part of it, And I was like, good. That's what I want it to be. Originally my podcast used to be called Shooting the Shit Podcast.
I like that. Why did you do that?
The word shit, I couldn't promote a goddamn thing. I couldn't promote a goddamn thing. I was stubborn. I was like, I'm going to push through it. I don't give a shit. Blah, 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 blah. And then I was just like, if I wanted to promote a small, let's say like I took a clip of this and I put it on Instagram or TikTok and I wanted to boost it, they'd be like, oh no, the word shit's in there. Can't. And I'm sitting there going, there's boobs bouncing everywhere on the internet. And you're worried about my word in my name? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I eventually kept the logo similar and had to change it to Live on the Mic. But yeah, it's not my favorite name. Wasn't my Shooting the Shit podcast. I wanted people to come on here and shoot the shit, but promotional sakes, it was very, very hard to do. And I was like, I was just tired of trying to push through, right? The whole time. I'm stubborn. I gave it like a year and a half of just pushing, and I was like, okay, let's just change the name. But yeah, that's what happened to me.
I feel a comeback for Shoot the Shit.
Yeah, no, we should just, call it Live on the Mic and then just call it Shooting the Shit on here. But just trick the internet a little bit. So now your first time ever in a studio recording yourself. First experience. I owned a studio in 2004 and 5. Never sung, never rapped, never did any goddamn thing, but I owned a studio. I knew music producers, and I owned a studio for about a good year and a half. The way that I saw a producer produce music and put music together, you know, the engineer. I was shocked. I didn't know music was made that way at the time. How was your first experience in a music studio?
Oh my God, I was so scared.
It's
'Cause,
true, yeah.
you question yourself, your
Yeah.
talent, and having that kind of when you have a mic and you're singing into the mic and it's being recorded, it's like every note, can be heard. And I'm not someone who's like, oh, auto tune, just fix it up. No,
Yeah.
want raw. And I'm all about that. Even now, I don't use backing tracks. I don't use anything. We're just band, playing live.
Perfect.
And the first person I got to record with was a producer named John Angus McDonald, and he's from an amazing band here in Canada called The Trues. And so he was their guitarist. I reached out to them, and he, was wonderful enough to work with me, even though I had nothing. I literally sent him songs that were recorded a cappella on my phone. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I couldn't really play an instrument well. So anyhow, it was an interesting experience because we didn't record in the studio. It was actually they had a rehearsal studio for the band.
Okay.
They were paying monthly in there. We went in there and mic'd up everything, and just in the rehearsal studio, that's where we recorded everything. So
Love it.
it was quite an interesting experience. And even now with my current producer, Brent Woods, it's a home studio. So it's just awesome because we take our time. It's very relaxed. Sometimes the song is not even fully written, and we work on it while we're recording, and then we'll take a break, and he's got a pool. So I'm just like, this is perfect. Studio,
Take another backstroke. But hold on. I'm just thinking of the next lyrics. Don't worry about it. We're good
Wait,
to go.
the lyrics will come to me. I just need to do a little.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, the first time you ever recorded a song, excitement, you're a little bit excited, showing it to your friends.
I mean, again, it's like, it's surreal because
Yeah.
it's something that was a childhood dream. And then when you're finally hearing the songs that you came up with being recorded and made into something like, with full instrumentation, it's incredible. And then getting it on the radio was something else that was unbelievable.
But how difficult was it? Was it easier than because getting it on the radio is fairly hard.
Again, it's perception. I think if you tell yourself something is hard, of course it's going to be hard.
Mhm.
I never saw anything as hard. I'm just persistence. You stay at it, you keep going. I went to radio stations in person. I did not reach out sending emails. I would go in person, make sure
Yeah.
I found the program director's name. I'd go and meet with them, talk to them. I got a lot of no's because a lot of the
course, yeah.
major stations, there's a lot of politics involved, and I get it because it's a business. And they would say to me, look, we love your song, but we can't play it because blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, next. Just keep going.
Do you
There's
find that?
lots of radio stations. And eventually I got on Sirius XM, which was massive.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 5 songs on there. So, and it
Wow.
was through LinkedIn. I literally just reached out to the program director on LinkedIn, told him I have new music coming out. Would you have a listen? And he said, okay, send me something. He listened to it, loved it. And every time after that, he had confidence in me and what I was doing. And
That's perfect.
yeah, so it's persistence. Keep going.
Now, what's your thoughts about stuff like Spotify and Apple Podcasts? I mean, or Apple Music and stuff like that. What's your thoughts about putting your music out on that stuff?
I put it out. I mean, look, I know a lot of people complain about the payments and what you get paid for it. I'm not going to sit here and justify any of that because, of course, it's not right. Having said that, it's another platform to get your music out, and it's one of several. There's so many different ways you can get music out there, through playing it live, through getting a sync deal where you get it placed on a film or show or commercial. So you just have to be creative. And would I say, no, I'm not going to put it on there because they don't pay enough? But that's another way that people are going to hear your music. And if you're
100%.
touching people in any way and any way that you can get that music out there, I have no problem with that. The whole point of making music is to share it with people. So any platform that lets me do that, of course I'm going to be on there.
I just found as a customer, me being a customer, I don't mind paying the $10 and having unlimited music. But then sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, God damn it, these poor artists are getting paid fractions of a penny. You know what I mean? Like you start doing the math, like I think 1 million streams was like $3,500 or something like that, right? Which I think if any of us hit 1 million streams, we'd be jumping for joy. That's a freaking great milestone, right? But then you'd be like, oh, that's it. Like I just found I think the music just took a bit of a twist. It's like I think it's forcing, especially the big stars, to go more on tour, which we have. If you notice, we have a lot more concerts coming through now, especially in Canada. It's forcing them to earn their money. That you're coming on tour, you are gonna perform in front of people, because now that CD money, because that was the
Yeah.
biggest margin in money, right, in profit, was when the CD Can't Compact This came out. And whoever was in that era probably made millions and millions of dollars, including our friends, the Guns N' Roses. So, but and then when this whole like streaming platform, then the cool thing about the streaming platforms like Spotify and Podbeam, oh sorry, Spotify, Apple Music. I keep talking about podcast stuff. That's all the stuff that I'm on, right? But anyways, that cool stuff is like, at least you can send it over. People like in Europe could listen to it. Like the range is insane for it, right? Now the funny thing is, in the podcast world, we get $0 to be on those things. We don't get fractions of nothing. I have no idea why. I have
Yeah.
no idea why. We get, obviously fractions on being on YouTube, but when it comes to all the other stuff, we get nothing. And we pay just as much as the music people do. And if let's say for instance, I played your music on here, it would be copywritten and sent to you. And then it'd be my podcast would now become yours. And it's like, that's cool, but how come I get nothing all the time?
Yeah.
But I love doing it and I love meeting people. So I'm not complaining, but it's a crazy, crazy world though. But if there's anything about the music industry, what would you change?
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, you make it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
As an individual, you choose who you want to work with.
Yeah.
You choose whether you want to sign to a label, whether you want to have management. I have remained completely independent. And it's not to say, never say never. I don't know what the future holds.
That's right.
Having said that, I think it's so important to be in control of your career. I've had offers for publishing deals, I've had offers for record deals, and I've said no because it didn't fit right
That's right.
into what I'm trying to do. And I think you make the music industry what you want it to be. And you can sit here and complain all you want, because of course there's lots of stuff that goes on that isn't right. But you can either decide to be a part of it or you don't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it helps because I'm older. I kind of get it. I'm not fame hungry. And I do think even if you want the fame, there's ways to create it. And that's why, I focus on social media, on TikTok. It's how you found me. And
Yes.
it's how I get a lot of interviews. LinkedIn, I get a lot of people saying, we want to have you on our show. So, and so you can create your own, PR even. And I don't think you necessarily need a lot of people, especially with the reach that you can get now on social media. It's just using it in a smart way. And what part of the music industry you decide to be a part of, that's up to you. And I think if you want to play the game with the big boys, then there's certain rules that you have to follow. And if you're okay with doing that, good for you.
Yeah,
And
but you take social media to another level. Like you're just your music, and then you show a lot of yourself. Here's this gonna be my outfit, and it's like then people get drawn to you. You're like, oh my god, who is this? Oh my gosh, she's a musician. Oh, she's just a country rock singer. That's cool. What I found a lot of people, they do wrong or lazy or whatever the case may be. I don't want to really be a mean guy, but they'll come out with a song, put it on YouTube, and then wonder why there's only 3 hits.
right.
They didn't
Yeah,
push it. They didn't do anything about it. They didn't go back on social media. They didn't. And then they do another song. And it's like, well, what about that one you just made? It's great. And you didn't do anything with it. And that's what blows me. Because I come from a world where I was a nightclub promoter, 20 some years ago. Back then, we call it hand-to-hand combat. I had to go around and hand flyers to people's hands. There was no social media. So I was like meeting people, connecting with people all the time. So I found with everything else I do, I like to reach out. I don't mind, but a lot of people just like to put content out there and then sit back and, hopefully they're the next Justin Bieber or something. They found me on YouTube. Yay, I'm famous. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. That was still a lottery ticket, so, but you go above and beyond.
People are not just buying music. So even artists who keep pushing music and their songs, nothing wrong with putting your music out there. I mean, that's what you're trying to get out there. But that's why, you touched on something that's so important. I do a lot of posts that have nothing to do with music.
That's right.
It sort of does. It says I have a show coming up. Choose my outfit for the show.
It's cool. It's
do I
super cool.
Yeah, it shows your personality.
Yep.
It's really real. It's my own clothes. It's not like I'm promoting clothes that I'm getting for free anywhere.
Yep.
But the plan is that eventually you work with brands. So it's that business mind that kind of goes, okay, well, I can do this. When you were talking about not getting enough money through streaming, But that's where, as an artist, you have to go, well, where is the money coming from? As an artist, you can leverage all these different things,
Mm-hmm.
like your look, like makeup you're using. I have curly hair. So, I just shot a content today about the stuff that I use for my hair to keep the curls curly,
There you
whatever.
go.
It doesn't all have to be just about the music. So the more you can put out there showing who you are as a person, people buy into you and then they'll listen to your music.
A
You
hundred
know, but
percent.
trying to say, "Hey, listen to my song." Well, who are you? Why do I want to listen to your song?
I completely agree with you. I was just in Cuba in early April, met a bunch of people. I didn't bring up the podcast once, not once.
Yeah,
Oh, you're leaving? Do you have Instagram? Do you have social media? And I was like, yeah. And then I get back to like, yo, you never mentioned anything about the podcast. No, you
right.
got to know me first. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? We didn't need to talk about
yeah,
that. You got to know me first, and that's the thing. You'll follow someone if you're drawn to them in a certain way, right? You're just like, I like this person, I like this character. This person's really nice. This person's really funny, and you're drawn. Then you're like, oh my god, they do extra. I want to now. I'm going to go out of my way to listen or hear
yeah,
stuff like. And
yeah,
yeah, that's very big. I always told people, independent artists, I'm like, guys, you do small shows. Don't be afraid to print out 20 shirts of some sort. Get some merchandise. You know what I mean? Like, just do it. People just don't. They just tend the money's gonna fall out of the sky or the fame's gonna come out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh man, I have no talent. I DJ, and don't get me wrong, I've retired from that. I DJ'd on Saturday. I didn't do it for about 3 or 4 years. I didn't miss it. I did it. I did the best job possible. Everyone enjoyed themselves. They're like, when's the next one? I'm like, now with me, there's a next one. Like I was just like, I'm completely over it. I want to be social. I want to be with my friends. I'd rather put another DJ in the booth and enjoy myself. But the
yeah.
thing is, I've pushed myself. I created a brand in the DJing industry to like it was a super successful night. I was DJing that night in our own city, so everyone came out and had a good time. But create a brand. Let's push it. But I don't know. I'm not here to. I don't want to tell people what to do. Like I went and watched a show. It was this I don't know, some hip hop show I got invited to. You're part of the podcast in the city, so you get invited to these events. And I was like, oh my God, his stage presence stinks. And I was just like, do I go up and tell him? And I'm like, but it's not my problem. Like I had to like get myself out of my head. I'm like, he's got to have a friend to tell him. Like I was so like, he's good, but he's not looking. He's not engaged with the crowd. He's not looking. And I was like, oh, I think the best thing for anyone to do is to actually record themselves performing
Of
and then
course.
critic yourself, your stage presence or stuff. I don't, that's my opinion. You agree with me?
Yeah, well, with a live show, I gauge it by the audience, right? So I can see their reaction to certain songs. I
Yeah.
sometimes change up the set list if I see that certain things aren't working. If on slower songs they're not quite getting it and they're not there with me, then we're gonna take out the slow songs and move to faster ones, whatever. But it's understanding that dynamic so that you can make every show better. And you try out different things. I had a thing where I would get up on someone's shoulders from the audience and have them take me through the audience and sing on their shoulders. And it just created
Come on.
yeah.
How brave are you?
Well, I would pick the person ahead of time. So I would say, hey, you're a big guy.
And stop drinking right now.
Yeah, I would be like, literally, how many beers have you had? Be
Oh
honest.
my God.
And then we would test it out, in the corner somewhere where nobody would see before the show. And then I'd be like, okay, you're going to be my guy. When I call you up, come on and, take me through
That's
the
still
audience.
brave, man. That's brave. Good
But
for you.
it's doing things like that kind of, are fun and testing out different things and what reacts with an audience, what doesn't. And you learn.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's true. I've trial and error. We've all done it. I've done it in the DJ industry. I used to play songs that like, I don't know. For me, there was always, you're talking about your set list. I got to pull this out. That's not the right crowd. Even this last Saturday, we had a DJ that opened up for me and he looked at me and at one point it was like 80-90% women. And I'm like, I looked at his next song and I'm like, change that up. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Like it was one of those, you have to pivot, right? You have to, because you could assume all you want until you get to the set or you get on stage or you don't know what's in front of you. You don't know what type of people you're getting. You don't know what they're going to enjoy. But like you said, when you test out the crowd and you like, you see what they like. Yeah. You maneuver it so you can do that. I like that. A lot of people just bolt through it and be like, it was a shitty show. No one liked this. No one understood my music. You know what I mean? So
You have to understand the crowd, read the crowd, and then cater to them.
I wanted to talk about your website. Your website's phenomenal. Who did your website? Like that is phenomenal. Like you?
I did, yeah. Look, you know what? I think the best thing about getting into the music business is I had to learn so much. And the reason I haven't hired anybody is because I wanted to know how to do these things on my own. I had no clue how to set up a website, no clue. And I just literally watched tutorials. I found,
Good for you.
on Google, and that's what I happened to find. And I literally took, a day, 2 days working on that to figure it out. But I'm so
It's
proud that I was able to do it myself.
it's freaking dope. Like I went on, I was like, damn, this website's nice. Like, everything's moving. There's a video of you in the background. I was like, this is a good site. Like, I want to ask, and it was you that pulled it off. All right. If whenever you
Yeah.
quit the music business, you have to be a manager. You know that, right?
It's happened already where I've had artists come out and
See?
say, manage me. And I'm like, well, let me figure it out first. I'm still getting there. I've been able to do a lot of stuff, which is fantastic. I still feel like there's more for me to learn. And yeah, maybe at some point that's what I'm going to end up doing, because I also do believe in supporting other artists.
Oh
And,
yes.
yeah, that's,
Yep.
that's a big part of why you get into the industry is collaborating. And I think one of the things I started to see when I first got into it was a lot of competition. And I'm thinking, no, it's you don't compete with people, you
Nope, you're
collaborate.
right. It's the wrong method. It's the wrong like I have this girl too. I'm gonna send her your information. She has a big show too in Calgary, something similar, right? And
Yeah.
I've gotten some really big guests on here, and right away I'd send them to her, and I sent her like a good five. Like it was some big guests, and she came back. She's like, "Why are you sending me them?" I'm like, I love my guests. So if I can help you out in every way possible, why wouldn't I? She thinks I'm helping her, but really I'm doing it for my guests because I want more people out west, Calgary, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "You're the only person in this business that sends like guests to other people." And I'm like, "But it's not about just me. It's about the person that I just interviewed, right? Because it's like, I'm just me and Suzy. That's it. She's exclusive to us, and that's it. We're never sharing her again." It's like it makes no sense. Why not share and help each other out and support each other? And it just makes everything better and bigger. I just don't understand people's mentality. But I've always
Absolutely.
I've
And
always said to
karma,
people, yes,
karma,
yes, yes,
really, what
yes,
you do comes back to you. So doing good for others, it just comes back tenfold. And
of
I've seen it
course.
happen in my own life. So I definitely am someone who believes in that, promotes that, and lives it.
I'm a fan of everyone that's come on the show. I will always share their music. Like I said, if there's anything else that I know that could help you guys out, that I'm not included, I have no problems doing that. What if I sent you somewhere and you became the biggest star on earth? And I was like, yeah, she was eventually on my show once. You know what I mean? Like it's a win-win no matter what way you look at it, right? So people are crazy sometimes. They're just like trying to hold on to everyone and everything's a competition. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't care about any of that. I just want everyone to be doing well. But Suzy, like now, like let me guess. Uh I'm gonna assume here that you record your own music videos too.
I don't do it myself. No, but I come up with the entire concept.
Yeah.
So the concept of the videos is something I've always done. A lot of the videos, I'm doing all the location scouting, whoever's going to be in the video. Just yeah, I put it together with the person. But I don't shoot. I actually hire someone to do that. But
Surprised. Surprised you don't have this
again,
harnessed or something, or I don't know. I'm surprised.
no. But I think it's so important to have a vision and to know what you want, because if you don't know what you want, other people are going to tell you. And then you're going to end up with something that's not you.
Very
And
true.
again, that's more geared towards younger artists who tend to get picked up by people, whether it's management, labels, and they're kind of designing who they want. And sometimes it ends up being far from who the person truly is.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
you don't want that happening, because even if you end up having massive success, you have to upkeep this image of someone who you are.
That's
That's
right.
not even you, and
Funny
that
when you brought
becomes
that up. Pink
yeah,
came, Pink, the artist Pink came to mind. I remember her first album. She was all poppy and
yeah,
stuff like that. And then when she went independent, it was not her. Like she did well, but that image is not her. It was never her to begin with. I was like, wow,
yeah.
it's true. They want you to be something, a certain way, a certain look, a certain sound, and that's what they'll get you to do, right? It's incredible. But you've mentioned that you've performed in Sudbury before, and you mentioned that it was what, a dance club slash strip club. Is this true?
Yeah, I performed there 2 years ago. I'm going to be performing there on August 10th. And I remember 2 years ago when I went there, I'd never been there. And everybody's like, oh my God, you're playing the Colson. It's this legendary place in Sudbury. And so I was excited. And then I get there and I see poles and a lot of other things. And I was
You're
like,
like, you know what I do, right? I sing, right?
hey, is there something I wasn't told here? I didn't read the contract properly.
Yeah.
No, but it's a separate section. So I have to say I did not see the dancers myself.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
I do have to say this. I saw some people coming out of the strip club over to my side to watch me perform. So I was like, okay, I must be doing something right.
That's good. That's good. And you're going back to August 10th. What time does the show start at?
Well, it starts at 9 because I have some openers. Chad Rivette and so they're gonna call me
Oh,
Natalie.
she's turned into a DJ do. She's butchering names here. All right.
I know. See, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think of the name. Natalie Crispo.
Are they from
Um,
Sudbury?
Yeah, they're from Sudbury, so they're opening for me. I watched some of their videos. They're absolutely incredible. And then Chad is going to be joining me with his band, and they're backing me up for the rest of the night. I get on at 10, and it's done at 2 a.m. So
Wow.
well past my bedtime.
It's true. These days it's kind of tough. The older I got, it's always a little tough. I was last show I went to, I was like, how many opening acts are there? They're like, there's 7. I went, oh my God. Like I was like, oh, it was Canada Day, right? It was a show in Canada Day. And by the time the main guy came on stage, I watched 4 songs. I'm like, I gotta go home. I gotta work tomorrow. It was one of those like,
I know, and that's a tough thing. I've done some shows where I was on at midnight and I was, the headliner, and I'm like, well, it's not good to be on at midnight. By then people are just exhausted and they're heading home, So I always think it's better to get on a little bit earlier. What I'm just it's that kind of club. It is a younger crowd. I played there before.
yeah.
So they're fun. They like to party. So again, about reading a crowd, when I played there 2 years ago, I had some of my slower love songs.
Yeah.
And that's one of those moments I went, yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah. On to the next. Have you ever performed here in Ottawa? That's where I'm from.
No.
No?
I have gone there, obviously, but I've not performed there. Not yet.
Okay, we got to make that happen.
Well, let's do it.
There's a place called Crazy Horse. Let me send some emails.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun as hell, actually. It's really fun. That's the day, maybe about 10 years ago, I was like, oh my God, I actually like country music. It was one of those, like, this is fun as fuck. Like, it was one of those, yeah, great. They had on Wednesday nights, they had like the bull riding stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. Yeah, this place is, Crazy Horse is definitely one place. Let me shoot an email, see what I can pull off here. We got to get you down here. Yeah, I'm like, fuck, I want to go to Sudbury, but man, Sudbury from here is like 6 hours. I was like, no, it's a little tough. But who knows? You never know. I might show up. I might get bored and not show. Who knows though? Who knows?
Well, I would love to see you there.
So but regardless, if not, we're gonna make something happen here. We got to get you here. We'll get you here in Ottawa. Regardless, let me shoot some emails. Let me pull whatever little strength I have here in the city and see if we can get you out here. And then we'll definitely help you promote it too. You know what I mean? So we'll go from there.
Maybe Suzy, you'll do an opening DJ set.
No, you're getting me out of retirement. I'm trying to retire again. Yeah, maybe I'll do that for you. I can do that for you for sure.
All country.
I can do that. I can do that. I've done so many events. I've DJed so much stuff in my life now that it's like you can throw anything at me. It doesn't even matter anymore. I've learned so, like, through weddings, especially, like the expanding of music. Like, we can do anything. I can go from disco to rock to country. It doesn't even matter what it is anymore. I'm just like, nah, no problem. I can do it. I know it all now. I lied. I don't know the new stuff. I'm that old. Okay, I don't know the new stuff. Let's keep that. I can't DJ all that new stuff that's out there today. I can't do that. But Suzy, you are absolutely great. You have your links and stuff on your website. Is it suzykory.com? Her link is in the descriptions. Please click on her link. Check her out. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. True joy. Her smile lights up the social media world, and we all need that sometimes. Music's great. I have you actually on Amazon Music. That's what I was listening to it. I was like, damn, this girl's really, really good. It's going to be added to my playlist. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Suzy, kill it in Sudbury, please. And then we're going to get you over here in Ottawa. All right. We got to get you back on some other time and talk about some other music or some Guns N' Roses and stuff some other time, if you'd want to. Suzy, thank you so much and have yourself a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.